this is our 2015 CS Final Fidgets project called Printer Swagbots. So we have these two rail motors here that are attached to these two sliders, and they're connected to this rails board, which is a 1064 motor controller, which is powered by this 12-volt DC battery. This one basically controls this pen motor, sorry, and it's connected to this battery.
So the way that this hardware works is we have the corks, which are just hot glued with drilled the hole into them onto the motors, and the string is wrapped around it to a pulley. So whenever this is rotated, because the friction of the hot glue, it will both give and take string in, which will either move this side to side. And then we have the same sort of setup on these two, so I can control it going this way and this way at the same time. And then we have just a thing here to make it so when you're writing on it, it's smoother. And then you would just put the paper in, and then the pen, which is reliant on gravity, we attached more standoffs to it just to make it heavier, so it'll have enough pressure to actually write on the paper when it's clicked. And then you would just put it right there and click it when you want to go.
So this is how you would run our project. So the way it works is, the first thing you want to do before you run the code, make sure that both motor controller boards are unplugged, and then you can go ahead and run the code. So when it runs, it'll give you a prompt on the screen. There will be prompts on screen to help you with this entire process. But what you do is you plug the 1064 board that will control the rails in first, and then the one that will control the pens. The order is very important to make sure it registers the boards correctly. So I'm going to plug in the rails board now, and now the pen board, and the code is going to run now. So right now our code is set up so it draws a square spiral on the piece of paper. So what we did is we used a for loop to make it draw this pattern. So it uses the I value in the for loop as a base to calculate the wait time for the motors. So how the code works is we set the motors to a certain velocity, and then we sleep the thread, which basically makes it wait and the motor will keep turning during that time. So it acts as a timer, so we can control when the motors are running and how long they're running for. So we use the I value and a constant value to calculate how long each motor should be running for, and that's how we're able to achieve this pattern. And the spacing is not always the same because the power of the motors is relying on the charge of the battery. So if the battery is dead, it won't always be the same spacing.
And here's the final product.
That's the final product.